With the news of Cowboy Bebop getting a Western adaptation on Netflix, attention has once again come upon the way Japanese franchises are treated in the West. Especially Netflix adaptations have become a meme in and of themselves. Why do so many of these adaptations continue to fail to live up to the original? In this video, we'll try to answer just that. Remember to like and subscribe to get more related content. Death Note, Dragon Ball Z, Ghost in the Shell, and now maybe even Cowboy Bebop. The list of failed adaptations is long. In fact, I can't really come up with a single one that worked outside of Battle Angel Alita. In principle, creating a movie adaptation of an anime or manga shouldn't be that hard. After all, you can just copy the original scene by scene and get a decent adaptation. If they did that with Ghost in the Shell, for example, and copied the 1995 anime scene by scene, the end product would have been far better. It's not just live action movie adaptations either. Miyazaki Hayao's Nausicaa was adapted as Warriors of the Wind, a heavily edited disgrace that hardly resembles the original in any meaningful way. This also happened to a lesser degree with the Robotech adaptation of Macross, although Robotech was at least watchable. Japan was a cheap source of cartoons back in the day. If you see the dubs of older anime like Sailor Moon, for example, the dub is usually hilariously bad and some scenes were censored or changed for Western audiences.
Oh look! Here come Amara and Michelle!
Oh, great. Why do you think they've entered the contest?
They're girls and cousins too.
There obviously wasn't put that much love or attention into these localizations. While localizations have improved a lot since back then, they often fail to convey the same information as the Japanese original. Part of this is due to translations being hard. Many languages have their own way of expressing things that might not correctly translate to other languages, leading to the expression lost in translation. This is especially true with languages whose geographical origin are far from each other, like English and Japanese. It's not always possible to convey the original intent 100% of the time, but you can at least try. The Persona games, for example, have tried to close this gap by choosing not to translate suffixes that denote social position, like san, sama, chan, senpai, kohai, and the like. With some of the Netflix adaptations, it's not clear whether or not they even attempt to convey the original intent, like the localizers of Persona do. Sometimes the end result looks like a quick cash grab that didn't even bother to do a good job, but was just chosen because the property has a built-in audience. As of now, the Cowboy Bebop adaptation hasn't come out yet, so I can't comment on it yet. I'm a bit torn, to be honest, as on the one hand it looks pretty good, but I also question some of the casting choices. Except Ayn the dog, no one really resembles the original characters, but if the acting and script can convince me otherwise, I'm in. I think it's fine to give your own spin on things up to a point, but when the original becomes unrecognizable, there's little point in doing the adaptation at all. This is a bit like a cover song. It works best if it's either very close to the original or a complete reimagining in your own style. But art isn't something that can be decided by a committee, which might explain why so many properties fail. If they're just some executives who don't care at all about the subject, but are rather just interested in the IP because of the fans, then the adaptation will reflect this. What successful adaptations like Alita did right is that the creator really had a love for the franchise. When the original is good, there's no reason to change things too much. Many anime localizations fared much better in South America because there was little interference with the content of the story. As a result, many shows like Ranma have an even bigger fan base in these countries. I've yet to come across a censored or otherwise edited version of an anime that's better than the original. Some changes happen due to the time and culture having changed since the original was released. But is it still correct to change things? Isn't the point of watching entertainment from another country to be able to dip into another culture? Especially the culture the way it was when the property was created. Does it really matter as long as it's enjoyable? Do you always have to adhere to the original? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. The great thing about adaptations of Japanese properties is that if you're dissatisfied with the Western adaptations, then you can always go back to the source. But to really do that, you need to learn Japanese. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already to get tips on how to learn the language. Watch this video next to get started.